to our second long ball here on Wednesday, June 4th, the morning after a 4-0 win for the United States women's national team. Emma Hayes has, she's still in experimentation mode with no major tournament, but last night versus Jamaica in St. Louis, not a big crowd, but there was an entertaining performance on the field.
Yeah, I mean, this is the time that Emma Hayes has to mess around a little bit, to work on the squad, to build towards a World Cup. And I saw a friend of mine, Jason Anderson, who writes for Black and Red United and does some stuff on the women's game, was saying, there is an alternate reality. There's a what-if scenario where imagine if Vlatko Andonovski had this period that Emma Hayes is getting ahead of the World Cup that he went to in Australia, New Zealand, because he didn't get it because what happened, Rob? COVID happened. And it ruined all. Sorry to jump in. I didn't know if you were going to get there. COVID happened.
I was thinking that because I remember it was almost like a drop-down menu of all the things that kind of worked against him. But right. Yeah, COVID a big one. Yes, obviously.
Right, but that
he couldn't call anyone in, so he was relying on the old players and couldn't transition.
Exactly. That whole thing of getting a chance to sort of low stakes bring in a bunch of players that you have not seen before. Right, getting Loel Labonta into the team is not a luxury that Vlatko Andonovski had. He couldn't risk. I got a window. I don't have any windows before the World Cup, and I lost a bunch of time and all these things. And it not to say that Vlatko would have done so much better at the World Cup if he had that time. But this is where it is, and this is what we're witnessing. And when the United States goes and crushes Jamaica 4-0, what we can say is that's great. And you saw some talented players show up and do some things, and good on Ali Sentinor scoring twice. That first goal in particular was well crafted and well taken. Very nice. And Lynn Biondolo, formerly Lynn Williams, scoring twice. And we always like it when Lynn Biondolo scores. So, and again, you got to see Catarina Macario do her thing.
She looks solid.
She looks good, right? We haven't had that moment yet where Catarina Macario got a chance to lead the line for the U.S. women's national team. And it looks like that's happening right now. And there, obviously there are some big missing names here that you would be going, oh, I wonder what their role is going to be. I mean, Mallory Pugh comes to mind, Mallory Swanson, comes to mind first and foremost. But we don't know what her status is, right? She's going to have a baby. This is what the women's national team brings you. And I think for the most part, Emma Hayes is navigating it well.
Yeah, I also was really impressed with Alyssa Thompson. Very exciting player. I just kind of comparisons to, like, Raheem Sterling a little bit last night, just like dashing down the wing, super aggressive and direct, but also, kind of some heavy touches, big touches, but had the speed to kind of make up for it. And every time she got in some space on or off the ball, she was very willing runner and kind of seemed to be able to use her speed in a useful way. Not all young players don't always know how to use their speed in the proper way to beat their player. And she certainly does, and certainly had the upper hand against the competition in Jamaica last night. But, good things are happening in the, what would you say, like the incubator phase for this team?
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, the incubator phase. I like that. And again, a number of players getting. We have a midfielder, a teenage midfielder starting in Lily Johannes. Like we're seeing these things kind of emerge that are going to change the complexion of this team. Shout out to John here, who wants to say Carrie Gavello getting her debut there at left back. That's another. Again, debuts, players who aren't capped or have very few caps, getting a chance to show what they can do.
The United States women's national team returned to action, more friendlies at the end of June. They'll face off against Ireland twice and then Canada at the on July 2nd. So that could be an interesting friendly matchup there. But that window now done for the United States women's national team.